All right, guys, welcome back to Jerk Vlog Talk. I'm Jason Fernandez here at CrossFit Right here with Phil Sabatini. And today, Weightlifting Wednesday. Again, we promised you guys content on Wednesday. What we're going to do is we're going to cover some common faults and fixes, more importantly, for the jerk. We're going to do all split jerk today. You know, what you do with your feet is kind of irrelevant. These faults still kind of are tried and true. So Phil is going to go through a couple different things here, and we're going to talk about some drills and skills and drills and things of that nature so that we can get your athletes moving a little bit better. So I'll let you go from here.
All right, we like to keep it simple. There's some really popular common errors in the jerk that we'll address. The first one, go ahead, Fernie.
Bernie Sanders.
The first one is that a lot of times at the bottom of the dip, the athlete will roll onto their toes, and that causes the bar to be pushed out forward, and then you got to chase it and take a walk with it all around the platform. So what we do is we just like to do pauses at the bottom of the dip. So he's going to drive down, and one cue that we use, which is important because there was just a jerk block doc on cueing, is that we like to think that we have peg legs. And so the bottom of the shin is a peg leg, just like a pirate, and we're trying to drive it straight down into the floor. All right, so pause at the bottom of the dip, and then come right back the way he came to drive the head through. Another common error is that the athlete doesn't want to commit. He doesn't want to pull his body through the bar and snap through there so he can be aggressive on the catch. And so we'll pause at the catch. All right, so everything's the same, and he's going to pause there. And if you have trouble feeling this, a lot of times what causes this is maybe the foot is straight and the heel is down, or sometimes the lifter doesn't want to commit and the head is behind the bar. All right, so if any one of these errors is common in your lifting, pause at the catch and feel that position. And if you don't hit it right on the first time, correct it, feel that position, take your time in that pause so that the next time you make that rep, you search for that perfect position. Another one that we'll do is we'll start in a half recovered position, and we'll do what's called a jerk balance. All right, so a half recovered position, the bar is going to be on your chest, and this is just focusing on driving the front leg and the torso through the bar, and you'll pause at the catch on this one too. The last one that we do, go ahead, Fernie. Thank you. Yep, jerk recovery. So if an athlete lacks overhead strength or tend to get soft in their recovery, we'll do what's called a jerk recovery. And this is something that you can load pretty heavy. And so he's going to get into his bottom position or his catch position of the jerk, and he's going to push back on his front leg to recover first, and he's going to come halfway and then meet it with his back leg. All right, and again, you can load this up, but it teaches the athlete to be really tight and transfer the forces through the legs all the way into the hands up top. Push, from half, back foot. Good.
Cool. The other thing I wanted you to talk about is, so this is something you corrected with me, was people getting a little bit too far back in the heels before they go to jerk.
Yeah.
And you had me shift my weight forward, actually.
Right.
When we started working on the dip drive. So
that goes back to the first fault, is pushing the bar forward. So a lot of times the cue heels is used incorrectly, and people will think about like transferring their weight all the way back behind their calves, if that's even possible. The toes are up off of the ground, and so as soon as the athlete tries to put any pressure into the ground, they automatically roll forward. And Jason was doing that, so what we had him do is transfer his weight a little more into the middle of his foot, almost right in front of his shin, and he drove his hips straight down, and we were thinking peg legs on this one again. All right, but that's a really common error in people that are way too back in their heel or way too back foot, is that as soon as they try to put pressure into the floor, they roll onto their toes. It causes the bar to be pushed out.
And that was a big problem I had because I got into the habit of like every time I would stand up from a clean, I would roll back to the heels, float my toes a little bit, and then just in order to get back flat-footed also automatically causes you to come forward and it's out of sequence.
Right.
So it was really good. I think that's it. What about loading for these? Like for these drills, like what kind of loads are we going to be using?
Sub-maximal, obviously, but I've done pause at the catch with pretty heavy weights. And pause at the dip is a little more challenging, but it still can be done somewhere to 80 to 85% of your jerk max. The jerk balances is more of a transition exercise, so you would go off of something like a push press or something, maybe at best.
And then probably
you can load that up, even over your jerk, which is...
I've seen some of our athletes who are getting way above 1 rep max in that recovery.
Which is good. It teaches you to transfer forces into pretty big weight.
And also just that act like a good active shoulder.
Absolutely. Yep.
Cool.
Find what works for you.
I think that's it. And you got any other ones?
Nope, that's it. We like to keep it simple. Yeah. And they're all movement based. You know, you can spend a lot of time doing broken down movements and variations of different things, but really I think what has the best carryover is doing the movement with a slight variation.
Cool. All right, guys, if your jerk's all jacked up, start working on that stuff. If you have questions for Phil, please put them in the comments. If you want to get in touch with him, we can make that happen for you. Other than that, if you guys like the content, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, brother.
See you, man.